So then with regards to the second tab, this is the transactional details tab. So this is where you will be inputting your day-to-day transactions, whether it's an income, that means money in, or an expense, money going out, transaction. So in here, you'll see that there are 6 columns, one to record the transaction date, the description, the type, the cost type, the category, and the amount. So let's go ahead and I'll populate a few items just so that everyone gets a bit of a sense of what you need to put in there. So starting for the month that we had selected, it was July. So I will start on the first day of the month, and then I will put in a description. That might be salary of working at the bar. Moving on to the type, you can then select whether it's an income or an expense. So because this is money coming in, that will be income. Cost type would still be income. And then the category, this is where you would then need to remember which category you had assigned in the previous dashboard tab. So in this instance, I had received money for the salary from working at the bar. So let me go back to my dashboard. I'll have a look. I had initially assigned the salary working at the bar to be my type 1 income. So then I would correspondingly select type 1. This is very important because this then directly translates to the actual bar graph on the other tab. If you select the wrong income type, it will then actually go to the wrong group or type of income. So in this instance, let's say I received $500. So to give you a bit of a sense of what I mean previously, so as you can see here, I had inputted the $500. It has now been recorded as an actual, and it is then recording against my actual bar graph, my budget, which shows that I'm expecting to receive $2,000 this month, and so far I've received 500 for this specific income type. So what would happen if I actually accidentally selected income type 2? The $500 would then be recorded as my rental income, as you can see, and it would be basically incorrect and not recorded against my salary working at a bar. So it's important that we actually recognize or remember which type we've allocated the specific income source. So going back, I will then go and reselect that, and I'll just quickly input a few other columns just so that you get a better sense and we have a bit of a better picture to actually go across. So for demonstration purposes, I'm just quickly going to pre-fill a lot of this information, and I'm just going to put in a number of things. So then I will go nothing else type 2 and just say 50. I will then go to expenses and just say I've got groceries. So when it comes to actual groceries, you have you would select expense, whether it was a fixed or variable cost. So it's a fixed cost for me because I budget for groceries every single month. And then I would then select food and just say I spent $200 this week. I would select that. Maybe I might spend some money on the 4th doing Aldi. So I'll put another one of these. The good thing about this spreadsheet is that you are able to copy any cells. Just say I bought some clothing. And that clothing was a variable cost, and that was for my personal spending, and I spent $150 on that. Might have a water bill, which then requires me to have that fixed costs, utilities, and that was say 30 bucks. I might then also have internet bill, and then that might be expense. That'll be a fixed cost. That might be under telecommunications, and I'll put that as just say $40. I'll have let's see, I'll have going out, that might be a variable cost. I'll put that under food. And just say $100 there. What else have we got? What else? Just so that I can kind of demonstrate. Okay, so I might health insurance. Car insurance. Oh no, fixed cost. Insurance, medical, healthcare. Might have insurance. Sorry, I have insurance. Might be, $100. I might have fix the shit. That might cost. That might be another expense. That might be another expense that I had not budgeted for originally. And then I will have, what is that? I would have basketball session, which might cost the variable cost. Personal spending, $15. And then I will then choose groceries again. It might be fixed cost. Third. Alright, so as you can see, I've inputted a number of the actual spreadsheets, the data into the spreadsheets, and then correspondingly, if you then look at the dashboard tab, this will basically showcase all the data that you've actually entered and tracked it against the original budget. So what you will see here, because in our previous page we had put in an unplanned cost that we didn't budget for, where it's an expense cost, variable cost, and we've provided the category of other, but we didn't actually give a budget in here. It will actually still show up in the graph itself, but it is no longer actually able to track against and give you that in-cell bar graph. So realistically, to fix that, you can just put in, a hypothetical budget, or put in the actual amount that you had put in here. So as you go through the month, you would then input all the data, and at the end of the month, this would basically be the reflective tool, the dashboard, which basically shows you how much you spent against the actual budget itself. So the green is the actual expenditure, and then the budget is the blue bar itself. What I've also included in here is you will also be able to identify the actual budgeted actual and the actual expenditure or revenue. And at the very bottom here, it tells you whether you're net positive or net negative from a cash flow perspective. In this case here, as I've only made $750, but I've spent $870 plus $315, which is roughly, I think, $1,185. I'm in a net negative position of $435. The last two graphs down the bottom, the last two pie graphs here basically shows you the actual fixed cost and variable cost expenditures by percentage split. So as you can see here, I spent 69% of my actual expense is made up of food expense from a fixed cost perspective, whereas variable cost is 52% personal spending. So let me just quickly flick back to the transactional details list and let me show you a few other things. So just say you had accidentally put in a different month. Then I'll quickly delete this. Because the actual month hasn't been actually selected and inputted correctly, it won't actually be captured in the in this month's actual expenditure. As you can see here, The fixed cost food of $200 is now excluded from the July actual expenditure. However, if you then go and change the corresponding month to August the 8th, it will then be recorded in here because you have inputted the 13th of August 2024 as opposed to a July date. So it's quite critical that when you actually go through and put the date in, you get the right dates. Otherwise, it's not going to work properly. So I'll now move on to tab number 3, Income and Expenses Summary, just to give you a bit of an overview of what this tab is used for.